Okay, so today we are discussing Orgone energy. Now, when you think of Orgone, just think of another word for life force, ether, prana. So, Orgone energy works on the etheric plane, ether, okay? Now, all these frequencies that we're seeing, all these electromagnetic frequencies, they're on the electromagnetic planes. Our auric field has there's different fields, okay? There's different planes. And when you have orgonite, what we're talking about are devices that are like Wilhelm Reich's Orgone accumulator. And if you've researched his accumulator box, you would see that what he did was he just stacked alternating layers of inorganic and organic materials. And on the inside there was metal in this box people would sit in, and there was metal on the very inside, and that would create an oscillation because the metal would keep the Orgone energy that had accumulated in the box. It would keep it concentrated in the middle. So people who sat in this box would experience healing because all this Orgone energy is accumulated in there, life force energy. And so he was able to detect it with a modified Geiger counter, and when his patients experienced breakthroughs emotionally, they would get a jump in this life force energy. And he started this whole research based on the orgasm. That's why he named it Orgone. Okay, so just when you think of Orgone energy, some people are labeling him a quack and it's pseudoscience, but it's something that's been around for a long time. It's not pseudoscience. It's life force energy. It's kind of like the Force. Luke and Skywalker, we all have this force, and it's something that is everywhere. Okay, so when you have these devices, what are Orgone energy devices? What are these pyramids people are talking about, right? Well, what we're doing is just keep it simple, all right? We're going off of Orgone accumulator boxes, what he did to capture the Orgone, the life force energy in those boxes, okay? So he alternated layers of inorganic and organic, all right? So that accumulates the energy. Now, the problem with his accumulation of this energy was if he had the boxes in one of a negative energy vortex, a spot that had bad energy, well, you would accumulate that dead Orgone energy. So it's, we're in a duality multiverse. So you have life force energy, and then you have energy that's void of life force. All right. So he called that dead Orgone. All right. So if you have an accumulator box, and let's say you have this accumulator box centered, let's say, on some energetic vortex. They say there's some haunted houses and things like that. Certain areas are energetically stale and dead. There's no life force there, right? So if you have an accumulator and you put it in one of these boxes in that area, you're going to accumulate dead energy, okay? Now, the difference between Orgone energy devices and an accumulator box is, and this is something that people don't realize, or most people don't realize, I think, is that Wilhelm Reich was not dealing with crystals. He did not have gemstones. He did not have scalar wave transceivers. He did not have powerful superconductors and minerals, things like that. He had basic inorganic and organic elements that would draw in the ether, okay? So with these devices, what we're doing is you have every piece that I make has an accumulator. This is the accumulator field on the bottom, okay? And now that's where I put all my inorganic and organic elements. So all the metal powders, those are inorganic. The resin is the organic. You have a 1-to-1 ratio. If you do that 1-to-1 ratio and you put in a lot of powerful metals, I also put in superconductor ormus minerals and salts and sands. If you put those in with the organic compound, which is the resin, you're going to accumulate the surrounding ether. Okay. Now, once it goes from the accumulator field up to the crystal matrix, this, you can't see it here. This one kind of is a little bit more opaque, but with this one, once you have the accumulation of the surrounding ether, all right, and then the way I coil the copper is a great router of energy and negative ions too. Clockwise, so it goes up. So it spirals up. So you're accumulating the energy and it goes up. All right, so then it goes into the crystal matrix. Now crystals have the amazing ability, look at that, it's black tourmaline. Crystals have the amazing ability to transmute negative energy. All right, and then also transmit, balance, restore, purify, absorb radiation. You know, tourmaline has a way of absorbing radiation and transmuting it. All right, so it's going to pull it in and just convert it. So this stage right here is the converting stage. You're converting the negative energy, all right? And then I do another accumulator field right here, all right? Because I want to go through another stage just to kind of keep this scrubbing process going, all right? Now, some people don't do that. That's fine. I think it adds more power when you have a second accumulator field, all right? So it's accumulating, then it goes to another crystal matrix. This is where we have our quartz driver and the capstone, and I put some other emeralds, rubies, sapphires, selenite, brass, copper, gold, silver. So I put all those semiconductors with the conductors, you know, the gold and silver, and then you have the organic and the inorganic as well. So what this is a scrubbing action. It's an accumulation, it's a scrubbing, a cleaning, goes through another stage of accumulating again. It's kind of like an energy filter. It's like I have a Orgone water filter. It's got 4 stages. The water gets filtered through these stages. Think of these pyramids as an etheric filter, all right, where it starts on the bottom. That's why I say ground them on the bottom. Put the pyramids on the ground. That's why they'll be a little more effective. You can put it on a nightstand, a coffee table, still work, but it's better when it's grounded. It's going to accumulate all that energy, all right, and it's going to go through its stages. Okay, so think of it as a water filter for ether. And what do we have on the etheric plane? We have either dead energy, door, or we have life force energy, orgone energy, prana, ether, all right? So it goes through here. Now the sacred geometry of a pyramid is very healing. People create these pyramidal structures and sit under them and meditate and have these amazing experiences. And then look at all the pyramids around the world, energy vortexes. It's a natural, geometrical, sacred, if you want, call it that, vortex. So when you have energy routing up, you have inorganic and organic elements accumulating. And then you have a bunch of crystals, gemstones, minerals in here that have the amazing ability through piezoelectricity, because the pressure is being applied to the crystals. A lot of crystals are piezoelectric. The ones I use mostly are. Other ones have their purposes as well. All right? To transmute, convert, restore, balance. Again, we're just balancing out the energy here. Just like, so when the ether is running through these stages and then it comes out the top, because a pyramid naturally will create a vortex out the top. You can see this with Kirlian photography. Just a normal pyramid structure will have a vortex of energy out. And that's why when you do these water freezer tests with orgonite, you can see, you put orgone device below the water, you freeze it overnight, and you can see a vortex coming up. It's the same thing. Okay, and that's not even a pyramid. I just put like little tower pucks, you can't even really fit one of these in a freezer. But we're going to do more of those water tests to show that. But that's how you show this life force. You can't really, it shows up in negative ion readings. Some of these devices, they're jumping all over the place with negative ions because they produce these negative ions that we need for healing, for balance. And positive ions come from electronics, so those are bad. So that's basically how it works in a nutshell, all right? And there's disinformation being put out there that these just accumulate deadly energy, and that's it. It just sits there. Well, if that were the case, you know what? Every piece that I have, this has been in my yard ever since I made it, every piece that I have would, oh man, this is killing my hands right now. No, you don't even have to worry about it. You can touch the copper. The energy gets converted. When you ground one of these, not only are you taking the energy, any negative energy from the ground and converting it through the matrix and then sending it back out, but you're also gonna, the energy is dissipating, it's going in. It's like a constant cycle. So it's not just stagnant in here. This whole thing with life force is life force is never stagnated. It's always flowing. So the energy flows. That's why I do a lot of copper, keep that energy routed. So that's basically the gist of how Orgone energy works, okay? Now there's a lot of pyramids out here that are not made correctly, in my opinion. I rarely will, some people want to make it art. You have that right to make it art. I create what I think is functional Orgone energy devices that are artistic as well. And in my opinion, if you have these layers, you don't have to have 7 layers. You can, and that's going to be potent, absolutely. But as long as you have that accumulator field that has those small metal, those metal, fine metal shavings, powders, sands, these really small, atomized metals that cover a lot of surface area, so like a bunch of metal flakes that will only cover a certain surface area. But if you have a bunch of powders, and then you have all this conductivity, you have more conductivity, okay? And so if you have powders, if you have sands, if you have salts, it's going to make for a potent accumulator field. And that way you're able to accumulate all this nasty EMF out here, and then you're able to scrub it. If you have a lot of powerful scalar wave transceivers, which are quartz and crystals and gemstones and minerals, you're going to have the transmutation happening there, the converting. And whether you do a second accumulator field or not, that's up to you, but I feel it adds more power. And then we have the distributor field out the top. Okay, so that's why with this energy going through this kind of a cleanser, if you put this under your bed, energy is going to route up right into your being, and you're going to have some amazing sleep and amazing dreams. And ever since I made this bad boy, I've been remembering my dreams the same week. The next few days, I'm still like, oh, I still remember that dream. It's because things are clear. You're clarifying the ether, the etheric energy in your space. Now, this is how it works. EMF causes deadly energy on the etheric plane. Okay? EMF causes deadly energy. They are attracted to each other. EMF and deadly energy on the etheric plane. Now, because Orgonite does its work on the etheric plane, because it's ether, prana, orgone, chi, it's ether, okay? It's on the etheric plane. Because it does its work there, you're not going to see these readings on the EMF plane. So you're not going to see like an EMF detector showing less readings on the smart meter, because we're converting the energy that's produced by the EMF. The EMF produces deadly energy on the etheric plane. We are converting that to positive energy on the etheric plane. Does that make sense? So think about people saying, well, we need to measure this somehow, do a before and after with the EMF detector. Well, maybe that'll work for some people. It's not going to work usually. A well-made device is going to do its work on the etheric plane, okay, because it is ether. All right. So hopefully that clears up. There's been a lot of disinformation out there that, frankly, I don't appreciate, because this is what I do for a living, and many other honest artists and creators who are doing this for the well-being of the planet, and well-being of every biological organism. For our health, our safety, our survival. We're making these. I'm going to continue to make these and promote these because they work. All right. It's when you have a pulse, you add a pulse to that, like this one has right here. It's constantly stimulating the matrix too. This Orgone matrix that's in this whole process that's going through. So think of like radionics. The subtle electrical current is very healing, and so when you add that to an Orgone matrix that's scrubbing the energy like a water filter would do, but this is an air filter. You add some subtle electrical current to that. It's going to be a nice little healing energy for you. Okay, so that's how they work. They work better when they're grounded. You can cleanse them in the sun. You can charge them under the moon, and they will protect you. You got to be gentle with them. All right, gentle with them. But don't believe this disinformation out here saying that they only accumulate the energy, and if you go gift cell tower, these pieces at a cell tower, it's just going to accumulate the energy there and stick there, and it's all bad. No. It's going to convert the energy and then spiral it out. At least if it's made correctly, it'll do that. Because Wilhelm Reich, he didn't do anything with crystals. He did not invent these devices. He invented an Orgone accumulator box that was able to draw in the surrounding ether. He also made a cloud buster, which we operate on similar principles to, with the copper grounding pipes into water. Okay, so he used an accumulator, and the pipes would draw in the energy, would ground it into water. So we're operating under similar principles that Reich used to harness the surrounding ether. That's it. He didn't have any crystals. He didn't have any gemstones, minerals that were in that matrix. Okay, we're adding those. That's the difference between Reich's inventions, creations, and a well-made Orgone energy device. So I hope that clears up any confusions, and I don't appreciate these accounts out here spreading this disinformation. There's obviously some monetary gain and agenda at play. Otherwise, they wouldn't be spreading that. And if they do know that that's false information and they're being disingenuous, well, that's highly irresponsible. And these people need to be called out, and they know who they are. So that's how Orgone energy devices work. I hope that helps clarify, just like these devices help clarify the etheric plane. When I say clarify the etheric plane, I mean the EMF causes everything to stagnate. The EMF causes everything to be chaotic, and that's why our cells don't communicate well with each other when we're around all this EMF. We get dizziness, nausea, headaches. This makes things clear. This thing makes things clear. How I explain it to people when I'm talking to them on the street about this is all the EMF creates chaotic energy. You know, if I do an EMF reader on my neighbor's smart meter, it's pulsing every 10 seconds, all the way to the red. Okay, so that's chaotic. That's chaotic radiation. It's chaotic energy. It's pulsing. This is a constant stream like this. Constant stream of fluidity. There's no chaos there. You know, spirals are, you know, it's kind of like the fractal, you know, that's how things work. That's how things move. Is in this nice, smooth, clarified energy. And that's what Orgone energy devices do when they're made correctly. So I hope this helps clarify.